Good Saturday morning, all ladies and gentlemen, all you S&P traders and everyone following the broad market. Hadn't done a video in a little bit and wanted to update you on the week, on where the market may be going, and to let you know how my trading went. I always like to be honest and tell it like it is, so that's what I'm going to do today. We're looking at a daily chart here of the S&P, actually the E-mini, which is what I trade. Again, you know, right after Christmas, we had that big 500 or 5% point bounce correction back up, and it's still pushing on that correction. And, you know, as all the technical analysts have been talking about, it definitely was what they call oversold, which just means that there's just been a whole lot of selling, and it's normal for a correction to come back in and cool off, come back a little bit. So I wanted to let you know what I did this week. I want to talk about overtrading versus preserving capital, and trading during consolidations on a medium-term chart and corrections that aren't clear, which is what I was doing this week. I want to talk especially about breaking your rules. I have specific rules that I try to live by, but I am a human, and I do break my rules sometimes, and I know that the more I discipline myself to not break my rules, the better I will do, and I will be able to make a full-time living at trading just as soon as I am disciplined enough to not break any rules. And that's a process that you have to go through, and that's what I'm heading through now. And this actually helps me do this by doing the videos and spelling out where I went wrong and where I went right. We'll talk about distracted trading, over trading, being unclear on your edge, changing trade size, scaling up during the week when that's one of your rules that you don't do. And then we'll talk a little bit about the shortened trading week here for New Year's, and what might be coming here this next week, and the one economic news that will matter on Friday, which is the non-farm-payroll, the unemployment report. So here's the daily chart, and we'll talk about the chart a little bit more. I just wanted to give you a short update on what I did this week. I broke my rules more than usual. Sometimes I get just so focused on the daily turns going up and down that I forget about going back to I actually have a checklist of 7 things I look at before I enter a trade, and I will make 4 or 5 trades before I realize that I haven't been checking my checklist. And of course, when I don't check the checklist, I tend to break the rules, and I did. So my final count this week was, after all my over trading, especially on Friday, I was down 24 points negative for the week, which isn't too bad, because usually my weeks have been 50, 60, 70 points to the good. But part of the reason why I had such a big drawdown this week is because I was scaling up and adding to my positions, and it never fails when you scale up because your account gets a little larger, or you trade your own margin rules. It's the trades where you add to your contract size, to your trade size, that you lose. And so those compounded, and I had a 29.8% drawdown this week. Good lesson. I just say ouch. I do some self-assessment, write down exactly what I did wrong and what I'm going to change. And so that's what I've wanted to talk about a little bit. Maybe this will help some of you that are struggling with your rules, with psychology, and the things that human beings go through when they're trading markets like this. So as far as over trading, I am doing my best to make a new rule to only enter trades during a 4-hour time frame, early parts of the day each day, and staying out of the market overnight. I will see this week if I accomplish that, then that will be one of the big points in my discipline trading that I will have down. If I can do that for 1 week or 2 weeks, I'll know I've got that, and that will automatically cut my trades down by probably 60%, and will help me to pick better trades, which is what I'm planning on doing. So next week, if I followed that, you may see a video entitled "I Did It." That would be my celebration of the fact that I stuck exactly to my rules. And one of those rules, the biggest one, is no more overnight trading. and then trading during medium-term consolidations aren't clear. My edge is seeing the ends of corrections and taking trades on the ends of corrections. And if I don't see them, I'm not supposed to trade, but sometimes your brain wants to fool you into thinking you're seeing a correction. And so let me get rid of this daily chart, and let's go down to this 4-hour chart, just for to take a look at what was going on here. This on Friday, I was watching what I thought was an ABC, and so what I did when it got up here on Friday, when I go to the 1-hour chart, I had what I thought was an A, a B, and a C. Now, one thing I know that I don't always follow, and I was reminded of this week, is when I have an uptrend that I think is a C, but that end of that C wave, or what I think is the end, isn't my normal trade, isn't my normal shape, then be cognizant of the fact that it's doing something else. And what I mean by that isn't my normal shape is normally the end of a trend, it will come up to end of a 0.3, come down to 4, go a little bit above for 5, and then start down. That right there is what I look for. And any of you who've watched my videos know that at the end of a trend, that's what I'm looking for, something like that. But here you have, when this came up, in fact, let's, now we can do it right here. It came up and it went up here, which with this impulsive move, might have been a wave, end of a wave 3, and then again it comes up here. If I don't see an impulsive move here, I shouldn't take it, but I invent impulsive moves because I think that this is the end of my trend, my wave C. And let me back those off a little bit, okay? But then again, you've got a third time that it comes up and pushes on a high. That's a clue to me when I'm not in the market, when I'm looking at it, not involved emotionally, that the market's doing something different. That's where I need to step back and say, I'm not going to trade anymore in this consolidation until I get clarity. Well, I traded a bunch in there, stopped out, short, stopped out, short, stopped out, until finally I just felt beaten, said I'm staying out of this now. Not fatal, but a very good lesson. And anytime I see those 3 tops like that and what I think is the end of a trend, I'm going to pause. So at the end of the week, looking at this on the 1-hour chart, let me get rid of these other ones. At the end of the week, my analysis is I'm thinking, so if that's an A, a B, and a C, where's my turn down? Well, for this and actually to be, and I've got my ABC laid out differently on this chart for a reason, if it is actually this, this, and this, then I need to see an impulsive move on Monday way down into this area. But it has to be impulsive. The trick is, as those of you who've watched my videos before, look back here. You think it's an ABC, and it's actually just a 3-wave A going down to a B, and then one more, the actual C wave before it heads down. And so I think what we're actually looking at is, let me get rid of this. Let me put this back on the 4-hour chart to get a little better view. And I think what we're looking at this next week, Monday, Tuesday maybe, see how long did this B wave, let's find you a good example. Well, the B waves have been pretty fast on the corrections up. So I'm thinking that since this is headed down so far, and this is going to be an A up to where it's at right now, it's going to go sideways and down a little bit first couple of days of the week to the B. And then actually what I'm going to be looking at on late Monday or Tuesday is something to show me a 3-wave B here in the end of that 3rd wave of the B. Because I think if it does come back down here, then we'll have a good shot at getting about 150 points to finish this correction. And this may just, this may do this through Friday. And so I'm not looking to go short unless I have a compelling reason to go short. It gets down into this area. So I'm thinking it's going to do an A, B, and head up to C for the rest of the week. The market takes what time it needs. And if this is, let's look at the daily. If we go back to the daily, if this is just a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then heading back to 5, or whatever it's doing, if you look at the weekly, weekly is still down. It could be an ABC finishing, but it doesn't look like it at this point. And if this is a C finishing, we're going to get that, and we can catch that B wave heading up. And if we don't see the end of the trend on the C wave, we can just stay in it, and it can. then it will, if we don't see the end of this C wave, then it'll just keep going up. But I think what's going to happen, the way I'm looking at it right now, is I'm looking for a turn on the B wave here. A up here, heading down to B, and then on to the C. A, B, and then up to C. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to let it play out. I'm going to stick to my rules this week, making everybody and myself a commitment to do that. Take my time. Only wait till I have clarity. If I get 2-3 good clear trades a week, I'll do much better with a lot less stress than the many trades I usually take. So that's what I'm thinking for the week. Again, hopefully talking about breaking the rules. Whatever rules you have set for yourself for trading, the edge that you have that you know works when you follow it. The goal here is to help encourage you that if you do that, your percentage is going to go up and you can be consistent at this crazy game. So I'm not going to change my trade size. I'm going to stay with one trade size all week and not scale up at all. And so my final count again was lost 24 points, which wasn't too bad, but it was a 29.8% drawdown because of my scaling and my overtrading. So we're going to pick that back up, and hopefully next week or the next 2 weeks just get back up to where we were and then continue on. Shortened trading week next week. Again, the market's open, normal day session on Monday, New Year's Eve. Closes for Tuesday, starts back up Tuesday evening again. And then we'll have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Friday morning, hour before the market opens, we have non-farm payroll. So the volatility that kicks in at that time will be probably settled in pretty good before the day session opens. And that's really a good thing, because then we'll probably get some clarity on Friday as which way the market's going, how it's going to react to that non-farm payroll. So that's what's happening. That's what happened this week, what we're looking for next week. Appreciate you guys watching. I hope it helps a little bit. I want to be honest with you and let you know when I fall, when I stumble, when I do well, because this helps me learn and helps me get more disciplined. So you guys take care. Happy New Year. Have a good week next week.